Hi, it's Debbie here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to cast. For the knitted cast on, we're going to use 2 needles, and we're going to start with our tail yarn on our left hand side and our working yarn to the right. We begin with a slip knot, so take your working yarn and place that over the tail to form a loop, then pull the working yarn through the loop and just tighten that up slightly. We want that to be snug but not too tight on our needles, and it should move nice and freely. So we're then going to use our left hand needle, pop our slip knot on there and just draw that tight, again not too tightly. With our right hand needle we're going to go into the front of the stitch, wrap the yarn around the right hand needle, bring that loop through to the front, and then use the left hand needle just to take a stitch onto the left hand needle. So we've got 2 stitches made there. This is our first stitch and here's our second. So to carry on, we're going to go into the front of the stitch, wrap around the right hand needle, bring the yarn loop through and transfer with the tip of the left hand needle onto the left side, and that's 3 stitches made. So once more, in through the front, round the back, out through the front and transfer onto the left hand needle. So you've got 4 stitches cast on there, and you just repeat that process until you've cast on all the stitches that you need for your pattern. For the cable cast on, we're going to use both needles, so you can start working at the tail end of your yarn. So we've got our tail on the left and our working yarn is to the right. We're going to start with a slip knot, so fold your working yarn over the top, go through the loop and draw the yarn through, and then just gently tighten that loop up and it should move freely. Then we put that slip knot onto our left hand needle and just draw that up so it's nice and snug. Now we use our right hand needle to make our cast on stitches. So we're going to go in through the front of the stitch, wrap the yarn around the right hand needle, bring the loop through to the front, and then use the left hand tip to transfer the stitch onto the left hand needle. So we've got 2 stitches worked here. This one counts as our first stitch and here's our second. Now for our next stitch, we're actually going to go in between the 2 stitches we've just worked. So we're going to go in through the centre here. So we've got stitch 1, stitch 2, and we're going in between under the stitches. So our right hand needle goes underneath, wrap the yarn around the right hand needle, bring the loop through to the front and use the left hand tip to transfer the stitch back onto the left hand needle. So now we've got 3 stitches made there. And for our next stitch, we're going to go in between the 2 stitches we've just worked. So we're going to go in through here, through stitches 2 and 3, wrap the yarn around the right hand needle, bring the loop through and transfer that onto the left hand needle, giving us 4 stitches. So one last time, going to go in between, round the needle, bring the loop forwards and transfer onto the left hand needle, and repeat that until you've got all the stitches you need for your pattern. For the long tail cast on, we're going to be using 1 needle, but we're going to start our stitches part way down the yarn. So we need to allow ourselves enough yarn to work all our cast on stitches. And you'll need about 3 times the length of yarn as for the width of your knitting. So if your knitting's 30 centimetres, you'll need about 90 centimetres of tail yarn. So we'll start with a slip knot. So take the working end, fold that over the front, go through the loop and draw that through and snug that tight. Then we're going to use our right hand needle, draw up the working yarn so that's snug but not over tightened. And now we're going to make our stitches. So we use our thumb underneath, go into the front of our loop, wrap the yarn around the back of the right hand needle and take the loop on the thumb over the top and just pull that snug. So once again, thumb round the back and up to the front, right hand needle goes into the front of the loop, wrap the yarn around the back of the needle, take the loop over the top and snug that up. One more time, thumb underneath, needle into the front, wrap the yarn around the right hand needle and take that loop over the top. And we want to try and get these stitches as even as we can so we have a nice tidy cast on, and then you can carry on knitting until you've finished all your stitches. If you do run out of tail yarn, unfortunately there's no option, you have to undo the whole thing and start again. So if in doubt, always pull off a little bit more yarn than you think you might need.